lone vote cast not in favor of Clark went to Angel Reese.
Hey there, sports fans. If you're ready for some real drama, stick around because today's story is going to blow your mind. What if I told you that one single vote could change everything? That's exactly what happened when Caitlin Clark was just a breath away from making WNBA history, only to have it snatched away at the last second. What's even more shocking is who stood in her way. This isn't just about missing an award, it's about bias, hidden motives, and a decision that's left fans across the world in disbelief. You've probably heard Caitlin Clark's name before, right? She's been making headlines all season, breaking records left and right, and setting the WNBA on fire. But there's a twist in this tale, a twist that's left everyone questioning the integrity of the voting system. Buckle up, because this story goes beyond the stats, beyond the game, it's personal, and we're here to expose it all. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to have a whole new perspective on the league and the people pulling the strings behind the scenes. Don't go anywhere, because what I'm about to reveal will have you hooked until the very last second. Let's dive right into it. Caitlin Clark, arguably one of the most electrifying rookies the WNBA has ever seen, was just one vote away from becoming a unanimous Rookie of the Year. One vote. That's all that stood between her and a place in the history books as the 5th ever unanimous winner of this prestigious award. Out of 67 possible votes, she took 66, but it was that single dissenting vote that sent shockwaves through the league. And who did that vote go to? Angel Reese. Now, don't get me wrong, Angel Reese is a talented player, but compared to Clark's season, the stats speak for themselves. This isn't just a minor disagreement over a vote, this is a story that has ignited an entire debate over fairness, bias, and even jealousy. You see, the vote wasn't anonymous forever. The person responsible for backing Reese instead of Clark was none other than Alyssa Thomas, a veteran in the WNBA. As soon as this was revealed, fans, analysts, and experts began calling foul play. Why? Because it seems like there's more to this story than meets the eye. Some are saying it's about personal vendettas, while others are accusing Alyssa of letting her emotions, rather than facts, drive her decision. And here's where things really start to heat up. Caitlin Clark wasn't just any rookie, she broke records that rookies and even some veterans have only dreamed of achieving. With 337 assists in a single season, she set a brand new benchmark in the league. She led the entire WNBA in assists per game, averaging a staggering 8.4. No one even came close. So why didn't she get that unanimous vote? That's what has everyone scratching their heads, and some are starting to suspect that Alyssa's vote wasn't really about performance on the court, it was something much deeper and a lot more personal. So let's talk about Alyssa Thomas, the player who decided to go against the grain and cast her vote for Angel Reese. On the surface, it might seem like just a difference of opinion, right? But the backlash Alyssa is facing goes far beyond a simple vote. Fans and analysts are calling her out, saying this wasn't about recognizing talent, it was a move driven by something else entirely. Some are even going as far as to accuse her of being envious of Caitlin Clark's rising star status, claiming that Alyssa simply couldn't handle seeing a rookie outshine the veterans. And here's where things take a darker turn. Many are suggesting that this vote is about something far deeper than sports bias and jealousy are being whispered behind the scenes. People are saying Alyssa's decision wasn't based on stats or performance, but rather on a personal vendetta against Caitlin. Think about it, Caitlin Clark shattered records, led in assists, and dominated in ways we've never seen from a rookie, yet somehow, that one vote slipped away. It's as if Alyssa couldn't stand to see Caitlin get all the glory, so she used her vote to make a point, one that many believe has nothing to do with fairness. Let's not forget how Caitlin Clark's season played out. She wasn't just breaking records, she was rewriting them. Her 337 assists set a new high, not just for rookies, but for players across the entire league. She was dishing out an unbelievable 8.4 assists per game, a stat line that other players could only dream of. Yet, here we are, with Alyssa Thomas stepping in and casting a vote that feels like a deliberate attempt to dim Caitlin's light. It's no wonder fans are furious. They see this vote as more than just a snub, it's a betrayal of the sport and a manipulation of the system. Let's break this down further. Caitlin Clark wasn't just impressive for a rookie, her performance was historic, even when compared to seasoned veterans. She didn't just lead the rookie, she led the entire WNBA in categories that matter most. Take her three-point shooting, for example. Clark averaged 3.0 three-pointers per game, leading the league, and on top of that, she became the first rookie ever to record a triple-double. That's the kind of feat that most players can only dream of, even after years in the league, yet Clark accomplished it in her debut season. Now, let's talk about Angel Reese, the player who received that one vote. Reese is undoubtedly talented, but when you compare her season to Clark's, the difference is clear. Reese played in just 34 games, missing a significant portion of the season due to injuries. While she had some standout moments, she wasn't the dominant force that Caitlin was, and her stats don't come close to Clark's impact on the court. So why did Alyssa Thomas feel the need to back Reese? That's the million-dollar question everyone is asking. The issue isn't just about who won Rookie of the Year, it's about the integrity of the voting system itself. Fans are calling this vote a petty move, suggesting that Alyssa wasn't acting out of respect for Reese's performance, but rather out of spite toward Caitlin. It's almost as if she wanted to make a statement, and not a positive one. Instead of recognizing the best talent, this vote feels like it was meant to tear someone down, a rookie who had the audacity to outperform even the league's veterans. The frustration among fans and analysts is understandable. How could someone like Clark, who dominated in almost every statistical category, not get that final vote? It's not just a slight against her, it's a slight against the entire competitive spirit of the game. People are starting to feel like this vote was about making a statement, but not the kind of statement that reflects merit or talent. It seems more like an attempt to undermine the rise of a young star who's been breaking barriers left and right. And what's even more baffling is that Reese, despite her injuries and limited games, somehow got the nod from Alyssa Thomas. Reese didn't just mistime her team, the Chicago Sky struggled immensely, losing 13 of their last 16 games. Meanwhile, Clark was breaking records, leading her team, and setting a new standard for what a rookie can achieve in the WNBA. It's not even about opinions at this point statistically. Clark was on a completely different level, so Alyssa's vote has raised more than a few eyebrows. The whispers around the league are growing louder, and people are questioning the real motive behind Alyssa's decision. It's hard not to wonder if this was more personal than professional. After all, the stats don't lie. Clark's achievements speak for themselves, and no matter how you slice it, she was clearly the most deserving of the unanimous title. But Alyssa's vote changed all that, leaving fans to question whether the WNBA's voting process is truly fair or just another playground for personal biases. The conversation doesn't end with just the vote. Fans are calling for more transparency from the WNBA when it comes to their award voting process. Unlike the NBA, where voters have to publicly own their decisions, the WNBA allows its votes to remain anonymous. And that's exactly what has people frustrated. If there's nothing to hide, why shouldn't the voters stand by their choices? In this case, Alyssa's vote for Reese isn't just seen as controversial, it's viewed as an attack on the credibility of the entire voting system. People aren't just upset because Clark missed out on a unanimous Rookie of the Year title, they're angry because it feels like the system allowed this to happen. Fans are questioning if there are hidden agendas at play. And some are even saying that the anonymity of the votes gives players like Alyssa the freedom to make biased decisions without facing any consequences. That's a big problem when the entire point of these awards is to celebrate merit and recognize the best talent, free from personal motives. But the fans aren't staying quiet. They've taken to social media, calling out Alyssa and demanding accountability. It's not just about Clark anymore, it's about preserving the integrity of the league. Analysts and insiders are joining the conversation too, voicing their frustration over how one single vote can stir so much controversy simply because it doesn't appear to be based on performance or stats. The WNBA is now facing pressure to reevaluate its voting system as more people are asking for transparency and fairness going forward. What's even more frustrating for Clark's supporters is how quickly this vote turned into something bigger than just basketball. Alyssa Thomas's decision to back Angel Reese has sparked conversations about bias, fairness, and even racism within the league. Some fans of Clark believe this vote wasn't just about picking Reese over Clark, it was about trying to send a message that goes beyond the court. They're accusing Alyssa of using her vote to make a statement against Clark, simply because Clark's fan base has been accused of being overly supportive due to her race. Angel Reese herself has been vocal in the past about her thoughts on Clark's fans, even suggesting that they only support her because she's white. This made Alyssa's vote feel like more than just an individual choice. It started to look like part of a broader narrative around race and representation in the WNBA. And that's where things start to get really messy. Instead of being celebrated for her outstanding rookie season, Clark's accomplishments are now being overshadowed by this controversy. The sad part is, it's taking away from what should have been a celebration of talent. Clark didn't just compete, she dominated, outperforming veterans and breaking long-standing records. Yet now, thanks to one vote, the conversation has shifted from her incredible season to questions about bias and hidden agendas. The spotlight has moved from her achievements to this one controversial decision, and it's left many fans feeling like Clark was unfairly targeted. What makes this situation even more disheartening is the fact that Caitlin Clark's rookie season wasn't just good, it was groundbreaking. She managed to accomplish feats that some of the league's best players couldn't achieve until they were deep into their careers. With an average of 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.3 steals per game, she wasn't just a rookie standout, she was a league-wide sensation. And let's not forget that she was the first rookie to notch a triple-double, a feat most players dream of, but rarely achieve. But instead of being fully recognized for her talent and game-changing contributions, the focus has shifted. Alyssa's vote for Angel Reese, a player who struggled with injuries and didn't have nearly as much impact, has raised doubts about how awards are handed out in the WNBA. Fans are now questioning whether the league is doing enough to ensure its voting process reflects true performance rather than personal grudges or hidden agendas. The fact that Reese played only 34 games and her team lost most of them, while Clark was making headlines for her jaw-dropping stats, only adds fuel to the fire. It's no wonder that fans are outraged. The numbers speak for themselves, and yet somehow Clark was denied the unanimous recognition she deserved. Alyssa Thomas's vote wasn't just a disagreement, it was seen as a deliberate move to undermine one of the brightest young stars the WNBA has ever seen. And this has left many wondering if the league needs to rethink how it handles its voting process, especially when a single vote can cause so much controversy and damage to the league's credibility. As the controversy continues to swirl, many are beginning to question what Alyssa Thomas truly hoped to achieve by casting her vote for Angel Reese. Was it really about recognizing talent, or was it about something more personal? Fans are pointing out that this isn't the first time Alyssa has been involved in drama like this. In fact, some remember that back in 2023, she made headlines for accusing her own teammates of racism, which now looks like a calculated move to put herself in the spotlight. For many, this latest vote feels like another attempt by Alyssa to manipulate the narrative to her advantage. But here's the thing, by voting for Reese, Alyssa hasn't just caused a stir, she's drawn attention away from Clark's historic season. Instead of celebrating one of the greatest rookie performances the league has ever seen, we're now stuck debating whether personal bias is affecting the way awards are handed out. The WNBA, a league that's been growing in popularity thanks to talented players like Caitlin Clark, now finds itself in the middle of a controversy that could undermine its credibility. The outcry from fans is getting louder. They're demanding transparency, calling on the WNBA to reveal the voting records and ensure that awards like Rookie of the Year are based solely on merit. Some are even going as far as to say that the league's entire award system is in jeopardy if changes aren't made soon. After all, how can fans trust the process when it seems like votes are being influenced by anything but talent? The WNBA is at a crossroads. If they continue to allow these kinds of votes to go unchecked, they risk alienating the very fan base that's been driving their growth. Caitlin Clark's fans, in particular, feel like she's been robbed of the recognition she deserves, and they're not staying quiet about it. The situation has escalated to the point where it's not just about Caitlin Clark's missed vote anymore, it's become a league-wide issue, one that could affect the WNBA's future. Fans are now questioning if the league is serious about recognizing talent, or if they are allowing personal biases to influence the outcomes. The call for change is growing louder, with many demanding that the WNBA follow in the NBA's footsteps and make all voting records public. This would ensure transparency and force voters to stand behind their choices rather than hide behind anonymity. Even analysts are chiming in, saying that what Alyssa did was a mockery of the sport. They argue that the WNBA should be a place where talent is rewarded, not where personal feelings get in the way. And it's not just analysts, some of Caitlin Clark's teammates and peers have expressed their disappointment too, though most are doing so quietly. No one wants to outright challenge a veteran like Alyssa, but it's clear that her decision has left a bad taste in the mouths of many. The real problem here is that this isn't just a one-off situation. If the league doesn't address this kind of behavior, it risks losing the respect and trust of its fans. The WNBA is growing thanks in large part to players like Caitlin Clark, who bring new excitement and attention to the game. But if the voting process continues to be seen as flawed or biased, the league could start losing credibility. Fans might begin to wonder if any of the awards truly reflect the players' performances or if they're just a result of behind-the-scenes politics. At the end of the day, the WNBA has a decision to make: either step up and ensure fairness, or risk damaging the very system that's supposed to celebrate the best of the best. As this debate rages on, it's important to remember what's at stake here. This isn't just about an award, it's about the integrity of the league and the future of its players. Caitlinclark represents a new generation of talent, one that has the potential to bring the WNBA to new heights. Her skills on the court are undeniable, and her ability to break records in her first season has captivated fans from all walks of life. But when something as significant as the Rookie of the Year award is overshadowed by questionable voting practices, it leaves a stain on the league that's hard to erase. Many are now looking to the WNBA leadership for answers. Will they address the controversy head-on, or will they continue to allow these types of issues to linger in the background? If the league doesn't take action, they risk alienating not only Clark's supporters but also the wider fan base that wants to see the best players rewarded fairly. People want to know that the WNBA is a league that values merit, hard work, and excellence above all else, not one that's subject to the whims of personal grudges or hidden agendas. Alyssa Thomas's decision to vote for Angel Reese has left a sour taste, and it's not going away anytime soon. Some are even calling for the WNBA to strip her of voting privileges in future awards, citing this as an abuse of power. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: this controversy has sparked a much-needed conversation about how awards are handled and whether the process is truly fair. The fans aren't backing down either. They've taken to social media, calling out the league, demanding changes, and urging transparency. If the WNBA doesn't address these concerns soon, they could face a real crisis of credibility. This isn't just about fixing the current issue, it's about ensuring the future of the league and keeping the trust of the fans who support it. As we wrap this up, it's clear that the WNBA has some tough decisions to make. The controversy surrounding Alyssa Thomas's vote for Angel Reese isn't just going to fade away. This has become a defining moment for the league, one that will test how committed they are to fairness and transparency. Fans and analysts alike are calling for reform, demanding that the WNBA ensure its voting process is free from personal bias and reflects the true talent of the players on the court. Caitlinclark's rookie season was nothing short of historic, and while she rightfully won the Rookie of the Year award, the fact that she was denied a unanimous vote has left many questioning the integrity of the system. Clark's accomplishments speak for themselves, but this vote has cast a shadow over what should have been a moment of celebration. Now, instead of focusing on her incredible achievements, the conversation has shifted to debates about bias, jealousy, and the flaws in the award system. The WNBA has a golden opportunity here to show that it values transparency and fairness above all else. By addressing this issue head-on, they can restore faith in their awards process and ensure that future generations of players are recognized based on their merit, not personal agendas. It's time for the league to step up, take responsibility, and make the necessary changes to protect the integrity of the game. In the end, Caitlinclark's legacy will continue to grow, and she will no doubt achieve many more milestones in her career. But for the WNBA, this moment should serve as a wake-up call, a reminder that fairness, transparency, and accountability are essential to keeping the sport's future bright. Thank you for sticking with us throughout this breakdown. If you agree that the WNBA needs to make changes, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates and analysis on the biggest stories in sports. This is just the beginning, and we'll be here to keep you informed every step of the way.